The first thing to understand about how elite circles work is that the entry criteria are never what they publicly appear to be. Talent, credentials, and hard work are the stated requirements, and they function exactly as intended, which is to fill the outer rooms. They are the price of the ticket that gets you into the building. They are not the architecture of the building itself. The people who make real decisions in powerful environments did not get there by meeting the stated criteria. They got there by understanding a different set of rules that are never written down and rarely explained, because their value depends on staying obscure. This video is the explanation. What follows is a 7-phase map of how people actually move from the periphery of a powerful circle to its center, not by performing harder, but by understanding the biology of trust, the mechanics of indispensability, and the specific things that elite figures are scanning for that most ambitious people have never been told to provide. Phase 1 is the identification of what researchers call functional gaps. Every powerful person, regardless of how complete their team appears, has a recurring problem they cannot solve at their own level of visibility. A CEO cannot personally investigate internal leaks without signaling paranoia. A politician cannot personally manage a damaging donor relationship without creating a liability. A high-profile executive cannot personally vet the loyalty of their own inner circle without poisoning the trust they're trying to measure. The first move toward the center of any elite circle is finding this gap. Through careful observation, through research, through paying attention to what the powerful person consistently avoids or delegates awkwardly, and solving it, not loudly, precisely. The neurochemistry of this first phase runs on oxytocin and threat reduction, not impressiveness. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, does not release in response to competence. It releases in response to safety. When a powerful person realizes that a specific problem they were managing alone has quietly been addressed, their nervous system does not evaluate the helper's skill. It evaluates their threat level. Are they discreet? Are they looking for credit? Are they going to use this to leverage me? If the answer to all three is no, an oxytocin bond begins to form. You are not being hired into their inner circle at this point. You are being filed under a new category, safe. That filing is the beginning of everything. Phase 2 is what might be called studied neutrality. Powerful people exist in a constant social environment of performance. Everyone around them is making an impression, auditioning, optimizing their presentation. The exhaustion of this is rarely discussed, but universally felt. The person who does not perform, who is professionally useful, personally quiet, and completely uninterested in impressing, creates a neurological contrast that is almost physically restful for someone in a high-visibility role. This is not about being boring or deliberately suppressed. It is about the genuine absence of the social push that everyone else is applying. You are the room where no one is trying to sell anything. Phase 3 is architecture over advocacy. Most people who want to advance try to do it through persuasion, making the case for themselves, highlighting their contributions, asking for opportunities. This approach has a fundamental structural problem. It places the powerful figure in the position of evaluator and the aspiring person in the position of subject under review. Every pitch reinforces that hierarchy. Architecture over advocacy means you instead engineer the situation so that the powerful person arrives at the conclusion you want through their own reasoning. You don't ask for a seat at the table. You create conditions in which the table is incomplete without you. This requires a detailed understanding of their decision-making patterns, their information environment, and the gaps in their current picture. And it requires patience. Phase 4 is the deliberate accumulation of what might be called unreturned favors. The principle of reciprocity is one of the most robust findings in social psychology. When one person does something for another without asking for anything in return, the receiver experiences a low-grade but persistent psychological pressure to balance the ledger. In high-power dynamics, this pressure does not usually manifest as gratitude. It manifests as increasing access. They include you in things. They loop you in earlier. They find reasons to keep you near the work. This is not cynical. It is simply accurate. Generosity that asks for nothing creates a structural pull toward the generous person. Be generous with your usefulness, your discretion, and your time. And never at any point collect. Phase 5 is managing the gatekeepers, which requires a counterintuitive approach. Gatekeepers, the people whose job is to protect the powerful figure's time and access, are almost universally treated as obstacles by people trying to gain access. This is a strategic error. Gatekeepers are, in fact, some of the most valuable intelligence assets in any hierarchy. They know more about the principal's actual preferences, real stress points, and daily patterns than most people in the inner circle. Treating them as peers, with genuine interest and consistent respect, builds a separate relationship that provides information, early warning, and occasional advocacy that no amount of direct impression management can manufacture. Phase 6 is the management of your own visibility, which is more complex than it sounds. There is a threshold of profile in any competitive environment beyond which you become a target rather than a candidate. Being the most obviously ambitious, the most publicly successful, or the most frequently praised person in a competitive group attracts the same attention from rivals that a bright light attracts insects at night. The architecture of access is not built in the spotlight. It is built in the margins, the one-on-one conversations, the follow-through that no one announced but everyone noticed. Strategic understatement is not humility. It is a security posture. Phase 7 is the moment of formalization, and it is almost never dramatic. There is no ceremony, no official appointment. There is a shift in how the powerful person communicates with you when others are not present. They stop explaining context. They start asking for your read before they've formed their own. They reference your previous conversations in ways that signal they were processed and retained. These are the signals that you have moved from the category of trusted tool to the category of trusted mind. The difference is total. A trusted tool is useful. A trusted mind is part of the architecture. Once inside, the maintenance of that position requires a single non-negotiable commitment. Your value must remain prospective, not historical. The moment you begin to rest on what you have already provided, the moment your presence becomes a reminder of past service rather than an anticipation of future value, the calculus begins to shift. Elite circles are maintained by forward motion. The relationship stays alive through your continuing relevance to their continuing problems. The deeper truth in all of this is that elite access is not a reward. It is a structural outcome. The people who achieve it are not luckier or more talented than those who don't. They are more precise about what the powerful person actually needs versus what the powerful person appears to need, and they build toward the former without announcing it. Every phase in this architecture is invisible by design. If the effort is visible, it has already failed. The building that looks effortless from the outside required more engineering than any ordinary one. That is the point. That is always the point.